As a follow-on to the previous video about ID selectors, in this video we're going to talk about class selectors. You might at first think there's some similarities, and in some ways there are. If we look into the markup here, we can see the list item with a class of first, and then there's a list item with a class of last. And there are a few other classes scattered throughout the document. The rule with classes is that unlike IDs, you can have as many instances of a given class as you want. So if we scroll down a little bit, we'll discover that there's a paragraph with a class of first, just like we had a list item with a class of first. We could have as many firsts as we want. Anytime something is what we think of as being first, we could give it that class. In a sense, classes are used to collect elements into sets, like all of the things that are first, or all of the hyperlinks in a document that say, that point to more details about something. So on a magazine website, on the front page there might be a headline and a little abstract paragraph or summary paragraph, and then a link that says read more. And you could class all of those read more links as more. So a href equals whatever, class equals more. If you were publishing some research and you had a bunch of images, and some of your images were pie charts and some of them were bar graphs and some of them were screenshots, you could class the different kinds of images differently. You could have a class of bar graph and a class of pie chart and a class of screenshot for the various images, and then style them differently. So let's do this by combining it with an element name. We'll say any list item with a class of first. Let's put in a yellow background. If we save that, switch over to the browser, and hit reload, there's that yellow background on that first list item, quote only li.first. So the list item with a class of first. It says any list item whose class attribute has a value of first, give it these styles, in this case, a yellow background. Now if we take away the element name, if we just say .first, then that means any element that has a class attribute whose value contains the word first, then give it a yellow background. So if we hit reload here, then not only do we have a yellow-backed list item, but we have a yellow-backed paragraph, because both of those are elements with a class of first. But remember, that only worked because of those first classes in there. CSS3 actually does have ways to select first elements without using classes, but nobody really supports those right now, or at least very few browsers support that right now, so you end up doing this sort of thing.